audio and video.
That's okay. Hey, everybody. You're watching and listening to the Real Rising podcast. Before we start, I think it's in order to send our condolences to Japan right now, who's apart from the earthquake going through a lot right now. So before we start, just want to send our condolences to everybody who's lost their lives in the earthquake, who's been affected by the airplane crash, and I think another incident happened today as well. The best wishes to Japan. J. Chris.
Yeah, it does kind of suck when we're supposed to be talking about fight sports, especially considering that this is the biggest fight week in all of combat sports. The period between New Year's Eve, well, the period between Christmas and obviously January 4th. But it just sucks even more that Japan is going through what they're going through, knowing that it's been over a dozen years since the last time they've been through something as crazy as this. And I hope that all the people over there that are affected and those who are going through it, that they heal up from this. And if obviously there are those lost, and there have been reports that there have been those that have lost, may they rest in peace, and may their memories never be forgotten in the hearts and minds, man. It just sucks for us to talk about something good in the midst of something bad, but it is what it is, and hopefully all those people are basically surviving and thriving, and if not, mourning and remembering. Jaywolf, what about you?
Yes, hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Well said. Condolences and all, because it was also great that the epicenter of the quake was offshore, so it minimized the damage. And the Japanese will rebuild quickly. And there was, not a lot of loss. There was loss of life, but not a lot, thank goodness. So, and also, with the plane wreck and everything, just hearts go out to them. And what a way to start the year for them. But that's okay. Get all the bad out the way now. They're going to have a great year. We're all going to have a great year. This is 2024. And what an amazing card it was. I mean, the New Year's Eve card, that was sensational, you guys. That was an event of the year candidate by far. I mean, everything from the poster all the way down up to the fights. It was just banger after banger after banger. So good. I mean, we got superior rule set awesomeness that we saw. Of course, saw her kick stomps, grounded knees, 12 to 6 L, everything. We got to see everything in this. And there was only 4 decisions on the card. Everything else went to finish. And that's including the kickboxing bout, right? So, dude, you can't ask for more. That was a sensational card. So I can't wait to get into this card with you guys. So, and we're going to start from the top down, right?
Mm-hmm. Jay Chris, what do you think of the card overall?
Oh, what I thought of the card?
Overall, yeah.
I thought, coming into the card on paper, I thought the card was going to be a dud. I wasn't going to lie to you on that one. I thought the card was just going to be underwhelming, considering the amount of Japanese talent. Considering the amount of domestic talent compared to the amount of foreign talent. But hey, when I seen that card, and when I stayed up for that event, it was well worth my time, especially with the amount of finishes that happened on that show. Come to think of it, even when it came down to the co-main event and main event, I wasn't really all that, interested. But damn, we got a new bantamweight champ. We got a 2-time bantamweight champion in Kai Asakura. We got a 3-time overall promotional champion in Kyoji Horiguchi. We just had an overall banger card, like Jaywolf said, just to go off of. If only they would have had more announcements to be made. And, I know that you're going to probably talk more about the announcements if time permits. I'm going to probably talk more about it on the review and preview special for Focus Fights. But hey, it was what it was, and it was awesome. Jaywolf, what about you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, Jay Krish. Very, very well said. Everything from the bottom on up to the top of the card. Even the intermissions were awesome. And of course, the announcers they're talking about, Jay Krish, is the Money May Pac-Man rematch.
No. Let's forget about that fight.
You want to talk about the cards that were announced? The landmark card on February 24th, and then we have a numbered event in March, and then the big championship bout between our boy Chihiro.
Old man Kanehara versus young man Chihiro.
Hey, Kanehara earned that. He earned that by beating Kleber Koike. And as we saw from this New Year's Eve card, Kleber's no joke in the submission game, and Kanehara was able to legitimately beat him and earn that title shot fair and square. I can't wait for that Chihiro title shot. That's in May. So and hopefully we'll get a landmark card close to that as well to bundle with it.
So unfortunately, I thought this was one of the worst cards of the year. Just kidding. No.
What?
It was really good. Especially because I don't think that it was definitely the icing on the cake. I just thought that Rise this year was up and down. There was some good and some bad, but it was definitely a great ending to the year for Rizin and MMA in general.
Yes.
Especially the way how it ended with Horiguchi proposing. I think that was there was something actually even more special about that. Let's be honest, if Shinryu had won, it would have been nice, but I think the Horiguchi proposing thing, really there was something very heartwarming about that ending.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so let's talk about that. Kyoji Horiguchi shows that senior citizens can still fight by choking out Makoto Shinryu. So, and first flyweight champion of Rizin. So, Jaywolf, what do you think? Is Horiguchi still one of the GOATs of all time in flyweight?
Oh yeah, for the lighter weight divisions, absolutely. I mean, this was such an amazing, what a cherry to the event right here. The absolute cherry on top of a sensational event of the year candidate. And Kyoji he finished the fight, then proposed to his girlfriend, and now I guess fiance, proposed to his new wife now, or his fiance, and then he was popping champagne in the ball, wearing his belt. Did you see the big old smile on Sakaki Bara-san's face, putting the belt around Kyoji? Oh man, he knows he's got a superstar there, and who knows what could happen in the future. I mean, with all the what's City Life product, my new favorite. Oh, thanks, brother. I appreciate you. Really, that's awesome. Thank you. Hey, and with all the news going on with one championship, they might be doing away with their mixed martial arts and stuff and going strictly to a Muay Thai organization, which is what I think they should do anyways. That could free up guys like Mighty Mouse. Imagine a Horiguchi, Demetrius Johnson rematch. I mean, that would be freaking awesome. And there's other guys that are coming up in the promotion at flyweight as well. And you know what I want them to do, Drew and Jay Krish? I want them to do a lightweight Grand Prix next year, and maybe even throw Horiguchi in it as well. You know how they do it Pride style, where they put the champions in it. I mean, I think that would be the best way to find a new contender for the belt, or to defend the belt. Is in the flyweight Grand Prix. So I think that'd be absolutely sensational, and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was just, man, what an ending! A storybook ending to an event of the year candidate. Just the absolute cherry on top. It was sensational, bro. It was absolutely sensational. I just loved it.
Jay Chris, what do you think about this win? This and basically the way it happens. He didn't destroy Shinryu, but he definitely made easier work than I thought he would. I thought this fight was going to go all 3 rounds.
Well, first of all, as I turn my camera back on, considering we're 9 minutes in, we can officially curse now. All I gotta ask is, who the fuck is calling Kyoji Horiguchi a senior citizen? The dude's only 33.
That's Drew's banner that he put up there.
I mean, yeah, I get the fact that he's a decade older than Sherry, but come on, man. We all know that Kyoji Horiguchi is not a fucking senior citizen by any stretch of the imagination yet. He is basically setting up a Hall of Fame resume right before, his time peaks. You know what I mean? And I mean, yeah, it would be cool to see him potentially face off against Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson again if that damned one championship folds its MMA division, which would be a crying shame because MMA is what they were basically built off of over the last decade plus. But, excuse me, but still, though, point of the matter was that fight was just action personified, even though it lasted 1.5 rounds. Like, seriously, I think that when it came down to that fight, we saw Kyoji Horiguchi go into another level. I don't think that. I mean, it's not me trying to basically bash Makoto Shinryu because he's still a Cage Fury champion. He's still a deep champion.
Actually, so Chris, sorry to interrupt you, but he actually vacated that title, the Cage Fury Championship.
Ah, that sucked. But still, though,
He just won it for the walls.
Yeah, I can understand that, but still, point of the matter is Makoto Shinryu is still considered one of the top young under 25 talents in combat sports right now, and I think that if given the opportunity, he'll definitely shine. But in the case of Horiguchi, we just saw another notch added to his legendary career, and I think that, considering that he's only 33, considering, of course, the news of possibly one championship folding its MMA division to be more strictly a striking promotion. I mean, come to think of it, I think the best is going to be yet to come for Horiguchi, and I can only hope to see more of that happen in the years to come. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. We got some interesting question from Heijin. He wants to know, do you think Kyoji can beat Pantoja, and who is the best flyweight on the planet? Jaywolf, who do you think? The answer to both those.
Oh, absolutely, yes. He can be absolutely competitive, and who knows? It's more than 9 times out of 10. I mean, he absolutely would be competitive with Pantoja and compete for the UFC championship right now. And he has an argument to be that he is the best flyweight on the planet right now. Because remember, he's still ranked top 5 in Bellator's bantamweight division right now. I mean, he's been winning against impressive competition, a full weight class up. This was his first fight back down or one of his first fights back down at flyweight and winning the title at flyweight. So I mean, this is his division where he was. This is what he was built for. Was this division right here, flyweight? So yes, the answer to both those questions is yes. He would be competitive with Pantoja, possibly win, and he is one of the best, if not the best, flyweight on the planet, 100%.
Okay, interesting question. What do you think will be next for Kyoji, Christian, Chris? Who do you think will be presuming that there's no GP or whatever, who should be next in line to face them? And why should it be Hiromasa Ogikubo for the
no, nobody. I mean, I get, and we're going to talk about this a little later, that Dotson was basically out of his element against Ogikubo, but nobody wants to see a 4th Ogikubo versus Horiguchi fight. I mean, we already know the outcome. You might as well go ahead and say it's a damn spoiler because of the fact that Horiguchi beat up Ogikubo so many times, it's almost laughable. But what I think is next for Horiguchi, it's probably going to be either waiting a while to defend his title, because I don't think he's going to defend it right away, obviously. You still got a flyweight division you need to build up with Ramazan Timarov and obviously John Dotson. But still, though, I mean, I think he's going to probably either sit around and wait for Rizin to give him a call for the next title defense while training at ATT, or, Rizin's going to prop him up as this legendary fighter and have him defend that title against all comers. At least that's what I think.
So here's my theory. I think if Joe Arai had won, they may have done him versus Kyoji because it would have been double Shuto champion versus Kyoji. And I mean, that can happen now.
I mean, come to think of it, I agree with you because of that fight being. I mean, that fight can still be made it would lose less value because of Rai lost, and we'll talk about that if time permits.
Jaywolf. So, what do you think will be the future of Shinryu? Will this be like a Johnny Hendricks level loss where he just never recovers, or
No,
no?
no, absolutely not. Dude, how old is the kid again? He's not even 25 yet.
23.
He's got 23. He's not even in his physical prime yet. He's still got a couple more. I mean, dude, the sky's the limit for that kid. I mean, he's a top a top flyweight, and he's going to show that in his future fights. So, I'm hoping that they do a flyweight Grand Prix. Obviously, I love those, and whoever they want to match him up with, go ahead. I mean, you want to match him up with Oji Kubo Hiramasa, see if he can take him out or whatever. I mean, that's fine. You want to match up prospect versus prospect, Temirov versus Shinryu, a battle of the young guns. Hey, I'm all for it. Whatever matchup you guys want to do, just just do a Grand Prix. I think that would be the best. It just would be sensational, especially with Kyoji Horiguchi if they put him in it. But to find the number one contender for Horiguchi, there's nothing better than a Grand Prix. So that's what I want to happen.
We'll talk about his win a little bit later, but can you foresee Rizin, because of just the nature of his popularity, putting ahead Chris? I don't know what I'm hearing. A lot of background noise on your end. Can you I don't know what's going on with your camera or your sound, but I'm hearing a lot of background noise on your end.
Sorry about that. I was just busy eating. Maybe I should mute my.
No problem. But I was gonna say just quickly, Jaywolf, do you think that they might give Hiroya a shot?
Oh, you know what? That was a super impressive victory.
Based on his popularity, based on the win, and because he's Mikuru's friend.
Yeah, well, look, if they're not going to do a Grand Prix, he is a prime candidate for a title shot. Absolutely. I mean, with that sensational performance that he finally got his W, but I mean, hey, that's one W out of how many fights? So, I mean, but hey, if he's he's popular, the Japanese fans would love that. If they want to keep making these Japanese centric cards, that'd be a great matchup to get the Japanese fans interested. So, but again, it'd be better to put Hiroya and all of them in a Grand Prix to decide the next contender.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're gonna give a 9-12 Hiroya Kondo, and yes, I'm referring to his last name, but I don't think they're gonna give Hiroya, who's 9-12, the opportunity to fight for a title anytime soon.
That would be hilarious, though. Wouldn't that be hilarious? Kind of.
Yeah.
Even with his popularity, with his Japanese popularity and how they're doing Japanese-centric cards lately, you don't think that's a possibility, Jay Krish?
I mean, I don't think it's a possibility because of the fact that dude doesn't have fighting spirit. Obviously, everybody in Japan does. I'm not trying to be, disrespectful. Excuse me. I'm just saying that if you look at the difference between MMA in the States and MMA in Japan, or really MMA anywhere in the world, you would know that a guy who is under 500, a guy or girl who's under 500, is not going to get a title shot right off the bat.
So what about this that Haitian says, Akaya Asakura will consider going down the flyweight if he can't make a UFC contract? I don't know. I think he's way too old. He doesn't seem that he's interested in flyweight. I don't know.
How old is he?
I think he just turned. He's in his 30s, I believe.
Did he just turn 30, or is he like well into his 30s?
He's 31, I believe, maybe 30 exactly.
Okay, so that's a little bit better than if he was close to 35.
He was born Halloween 1993, therefore he's 30 years old.
Okay. Then he still might be able to make the weight. It gets tougher when you get older. So, I mean, it just depends on what Kai wants to do. But I don't think you should take the UFC. The UFC is going to try to lowball him. Kai's worth way more than what the UFC is going to try to offer him. So he should stay with the Epic Rizin. And if he can drop down to flyweight, absolutely. Try to become a double champ against a legend like Kyoji. Man, that fight, that's a banger in of itself right there. That's a fantastic idea.
So
I mean, if he can make the weight.
Sorry, just quick before we go on to Kai, since we already started talking about him, just who would you, if you're bringing back Shinryu, who would you ideally have him face in his return fight? Sorry, BJ.
For me, yeah. Obviously, of course, again, I want the Flyweight Grand Prix. And
No. Say there's no Grand Prix, and you have to book Shinryu for something. Who would you book him against in his comeback fight?
Oh, see if Oji Kubo can beat him, or if you want to do a battle of the young guns, Temirov, and then that way whoever wins that could be the next title challenger if they don't want to do a Grand Prix. But I think they should do a Grand Prix, throw them all in a Grand Prix. They have more than enough flyweights, and it'd be fantastic. They got Bontorin, all these guys, all these flyweights. It'd be and the Russian kid, what's his name? He just dropped down, or was that the featherweight? That might be the featherweight. Excuse me. But man, it would just be awesome. So I think they should. I think they should do a Grand Prix, obviously.
Jay Chris, who would you have Shinryu face?
I mean, to be honest, if a fight between this guy if a fight between Makoto Shinryu Takahashi, and yes, I'm referring to him by his actual last name, but still, though, if a fight between Makoto and John Dodson doesn't happen, I think that the best fight would be for Makoto is to possibly get Zalga Sumagulov, who's been itching to fight Hiromasa Kubo, and face him.
Jay Chris, I like your idea of Dodson because Dodson is coming off a loss as well, as we saw, and Shinryu's coming off a loss. So that'd be good to match them both up right there. That's a good idea. I like your idea.
Didn't Shinryu also call out Dodson? I think he also.
Oh, did he?
I think. Earlier this year, I think he did. I think when Shinryu beat, I think he said, "Give me either Kyoji or Dodson," if you remember that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice. Hey, right. I like it, Jay Chris. I like it. Hey, with the background there and everything, that might be very well be the next matchup.
Just quickly before we go on to the next fight, actually, following start the question, was this best Rizin pound for pound number event ever? Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely one of them, and especially for this year.
The best ever. You can't say one of them is the best.
Come on! I don't want to say ever. I mean, we still got Rizin 20. That was absolute banger as well. Yeah. I mean, so one of the best ever. Absolutely. This year we had Rizin 43 as well. So I mean, it is absolutely one of the best ever. One of the pound for pound best ever. But I don't want to give it the number one pound for pound ever of all time. It was definitely the event of the year.
Hey Chris, about pound for pound best fight ever, best show ever. Excuse me.
I don't think you can say that because, I mean, it's like you said, there's plenty other shows that can have that distinction for Rizin of being their best ever, especially when you date back to the first two shows back in 2015.
Yeah, no, but he's talking about numbered events. So I don't know if those first two shows would count as numbered events.
Those are like separate. Those are kind of like a little bit on the difference. Those are like, I don't know what you count them as.
If anything, I think, in my opinion, the best show that ever took place for Rizin was Rizin 10, when Kyoji Horiguchi knocked out Ian Uncle Creepy McCall and topped that off with Tenshin Nasukawa knocking out Yusaku Nakamura.
That was a good show.
But if you want to talk best events, you got to throw in the cage events. Rizin Trigger first was sensational.
No, absolutely not. Anyway, we got
it was.
And who was not having a good day was Juan Archuleta. Man, he really fucked up a lot. Sorry to say. I don't like to keep the guy way down, but missing weight and then the whole thing where he punched Asakura after the bell 3 times. Yeah, that was some. He really. I jokingly was never a fan. Was like, oh, I'm not a fan of his, but like I lost a lot of respect after this whole fight. I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. The dude basically put himself into a lose-lose situation the second he got on the damn scale. I mean, seriously, the miss weight by an equivalent of 6 pounds here in the States, which is about 2.5 kilograms. I mean, to miss weight by 6 pounds and then basically first of all, you didn't show up for the opening ceremony, which is a tradition. You didn't basically.
Well, Chris, in fairness, he couldn't show up because he couldn't. He was still losing weight. He had to lose or maintain.
No, he had to cut weight within 90 minutes,
Yeah.
or risk getting the fight canceled altogether. But still, though, you come in, you miss weight. No, you come into Japan, you miss weight on the scale. You pretty much make life hell for the Rizin matchmakers at the very last moment. And then you basically, you just give that type of performance in the ring and you want to fight Chihiro Suzuki next? Like, dude, I understand. I'm a fan of your work. But have you lost your fucking mind? Seriously.
Jaywolf,
That's not how a champion behaves, you know?
Well, technically, he wasn't champion when he stepped in the ring. So, yeah, you're right. You're right. That's not how a champion behaves. Jaywolf, what do you think?
All right, hey, I got my 4 minutes going right here for this one. This is, I got a lot of opinions about this event. This particular fight here with Juan Archuleta and everything. First of all, the fight was a banger, even with all the shenanigans that happened with the weigh-ins and everything. And you know what? That was, to me, if you notice, that was the only fighter that missed weight was Juan. And this was one of the only Bellator versus Rizin, and even Juan walkout to, you see the Bellator banner that he walked out to. So to me, this one was the only one that had pretty much the Bellator curse that we talk about so much. And we're going to get rid of that curse right now, brother. We're going to get rid of it right now. And, that, if you remember on one of your shows, when we were talking about fantasy matchmaking, I was coping with about the Bellator curse that had ruined a couple cards come out, including the Super Rizin 2 card. Okay. And, and I was coping with that. I said that, maybe it was because Dingleberry Dana, sold his soul or whatever. And I should not have done that. Gave bad luck. A couple events afterwards, they didn't have any kind of superior rule set awesomeness in them. And it was like, dude, just like decision fest and everything, even the cage event, one of the landmark events. So we're gonna fix that right now. I'm gonna apologize to Dingleberry Dana White for saying that, and I should not have joked about that, even for a coping joke about the bad luck. I'm gonna apologize to Christ Jesus, ask for forgiveness from Christ Jesus, and I'm gonna ask that the Bellator curse be lifted completely from the Epic Rizin Fighting Federation forever, and that the curse is gone and lifted completely. Do that in front of my father's flag. This is World War II flag. I should have known not to even joke about that stuff, because I should show more class like my father taught me. And so I want to, like I said, want to apologize to Dingleberry Dana, want to apologize to Christ Jesus, ask for forgiveness, and ask that the Bellator curse be lifted completely forever, and it's gone now. And allow this whole year, 2024, to be absolute sensational with superior rule set awesomeness. No more shenanigans. If they do any kind of PFL Bellator crossover fights, nothing to have to do with the curse. It is gone now forever. Okay, now with this fight, it was absolutely sensational. Did you see how Juan was bringing it, looking to take Kai's head off with every shot? Because he knew, because he had the red card coming in from the weight miss, right? And then, like you were saying, he had the yellow card for punches after the bell. Like, what the heck, Juan? What the heck is that about, man? But still, so he knew he had to finish. So he was freaking going after it, man, trying to take Juan's head off, and it was absolutely a banger. I was impressed with Kai's chin as well, and then that's what caused Juan to rush in and get the knee. Just the monster knee from Kai, crushing his ribs and dropping him to the canvas, folding him to the canvas, man. It was just, man, I know with all the shenanigans and stuff, people were disappointed, but really, the fight still delivered the goods. And everybody was happy that Kai won, right? It was just, to me, it turned out great anyways, even with the missed weight and all that. But yeah, that was seriously a bad weight miss, and he said it because he got sick. But man, that's almost a full weight class. Dude, maybe you should, Juan, maybe you should move up to featherweight if you're having that much problems, even getting sick making bantamweight. So, and and this also sucks for Juan because now there goes the Patchy Mix super fight. Juan was the only man to beat Patchy Mix. Now, are they going to want to match him up with Patchy Mix coming off of this devastating KO loss to Kai Asakura? I don't know, bro. And also, what an absolute sensational performance for Kai Asakura. Man, it was just, dude. And he finished him too in sensational fashion, dude. I was so ecstatic about that, brother. It was just, man, I'm so happy for him. And I hope that the UFC, if he's going to go to UFC, they better not lowball him. Not after a performance like that over that kind of competition. Juan is still ranked number 3 in Bellator. Like I said, only man to beat Patchy Mix, top 5 ranked, number 3 Bellator bantamweight, and Kai Asakura finished him. I mean, that's just, man, what else can you say? It was just awesome. What a fantastic, the quote unquote co-main, actually it was a dual main event. Kai Asakura and Kyoji Horiguchi, 2 main events, absolutely just put the cherries on top of the entire event.
So with that being said, so one question I have, I'll go to you, Jay Chris, is, so I think that Juan will be coming back, but should he come back? Should he be allowed back? Should he be given another chance? First Jay Chris, then you, Jaywolf.
I mean, to be honest, after that, I mean, I would ask, would you want him to come back? But then again...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
But then again, I don't think that for right now it should be in the best interest of him coming back because of the fact that he caused all that. I mean, all the issues with the weigh-in and basically causing a nightmare for the matchmakers. I mean, they were to the point where they almost canceled the damn fight. That's how crazy that shit was. I mean, I still can't believe that happened. But then again, Kai got the win. And now he's going to probably, after a couple of defenses of that bantamweight title, be on to bigger and better things. I mean, but then again, and I was laughing my ass off at the Jaywolf sermon, so to speak. I mean, you eviscerating the Rizin spirit, like the power of SRA compels you, or something like that. But come to think of it now, when it comes down to the whole Bellator thing, what is that going to say for other fighters who are in the mindset of wanting to come into Rizin? Oh, because Arn Archuleta did it, or because Vince Morales did it, as a way to say, I want to fight because Archuleta fought in it. I mean, do you think that'll lead to more fighters wanting to steer clear of their options because of this?
I guess so, yeah. I wouldn't count Vince Morales though in that because he wasn't in Bellator at the time. He went from Bellator to UFC to Rizin. So I think it's a little bit. I think it's a little exception to the rule.
You can say that, and he had a pit stop in his home promotion, which is Front Street Fights out in Boise, Idaho.
So I gotta go to Jaywolf now. Jaywolf. So you were saying nodding, yes, bring him back.
Yes, absolutely. Give him a chance of redemption. I mean, he was over with the Japanese fans for the longest time.
But who would you have him face? And would it be bantamweight or featherweight? What do you tell him?
Oh well, either or. If he can make the weight at bantamweight. Sure. I mean, but, no more weight misses. So I think he should go up to featherweight. And he was calling out Chihiro. So, but I don't want that fight. No way. Sorry. You cannot get Chihiro off of a weight miss knockout loss like that. And also to further the point about, Jay Chris's point about guys are going to still want to come over, especially from Bellator PFL. If you notice, Patricky Pitbull, one of the Pitbull brothers, was tweeting saying he wants to come back over and fight again in Japan. And there's other guys besides Juan that are coming over from Rogério Bontorin. He's from UFC, right? He's Brazilian, foreign fighter coming back over here to the Epic Rizin. So there's going to be other guys. And as we see, they're doing their international events. They just do in Azerbaijan. They're supposed to do 2 this year. One in Saudi Arabia, another one in Uzbekistan is what they were saying, and also the possibly Hawaii as well. There's going to be foreign fighters coming in, and there's going to be Bellator, PFL guys wanting to get on the Rizin card, especially that Hawaii card. And also just want to take it real quick and thank the City Life Project that's been leaving. I've seen your comments, brother, and I really appreciate the kind words and appreciate the awesome comments. I appreciate you, brother. Really, thank you.
Sorry, I have to go a little bit fast with this, but it's okay. So Kai's champion now. He's the bantamweight champion. Let's presume he doesn't go to UFC. What do you do, Jaywolf? Who would you have him face next?
Ooh, man, that's a good one. I don't know. Who do you think the top contenders are? Well, is Kolesnik? Is he a featherweight or is he dropping down the bantamweight?
He's featherweight.
Okay. So then, is it Takeda and drop down to bantamweight, or is that featherweight? Oh God, sorry, man. I'm talking about all these featherweights.
I'll make it easier for both of you. Remember, you got two fighters, both Korean. Remember, Kai was supposed to face Yang.
The Korean fighters, absolutely.
Ji Young Yang
and Soo Kim.
Yeah, those are only two people I think should even be allowed to even be in the same sentence with him at this point, considering. One guy was supposed to face him, but it didn't wind up working out. And then obviously Social Kim's been on quite a run. What do you think so, Jay Chris? You agree with me? I hope.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen, especially considering Social Kim's run in the newly revamped Road FC.
But give him all the credit. Road's been great so far. It's been great. I love their upward trajectory. It's so good. Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. And they bought Lenny Hart back. I'm hoping they can do the same for I'm hoping they can do the same for the homie Jeff Houston at BKFC. But then again, going back to the whole argument of the two Korean fighters, I mean, considering the fact that Yuri Shim is going to be competing on this next card, I wouldn't be surprised if either Ji Young Yang or Social Kim end up fighting Juan Archuleta in the future, if that does tend to be a possibility.
I was just gonna say Archuleta should get somebody who's like, I should say somebody who's not deserving of a title, but who's still a tough fight. He really fucked up. He's got to earn some goodwill back. You can't just get a number one contender person, somebody who's already on a hot streak. Especially, here's the thing: the Kim fight, especially because that was a controversial win anyway. So
I was about to say that. Because Sucho Kim arguably beat Juan Archuleta, right? Because if he would have just had a little bit more volume, a little bit more action, he would have got that decision over Juan Archuleta, and he would have been the one fighting Kai for the title on New Year's Eve. So I mean, that could be, if you're not gonna, maybe. You know what I want to say? Do a Grand Prix at featherweight. No reason you can't do more than one Grand Prix. But if you're not going to do Grand Prix, that I think Sucho Kim or Ji Young Yang, absolutely, that's a fantastic first title defense. If the UFC lowballs him, he doesn't go to the UFC. And also, if it wasn't just a City Life Project that was giving me nice comments, I want to thank all you guys that were giving me fantastic comments on the banner right here. Really appreciate you guys.
Before moving on to the next fight, someone, Takeo Man brought up a good point. Inoue or Matoya could be. Well, Matoya just lost, so he's kind of on the back burner. But if Inoue beats Sato, listen, they've been trying to do Inoue versus Kai for 1,000 years. That fight's cursed. I don't think it's ever going to happen at this point. And probably,
Well, didn't they just book Inoue? Didn't they just book Inoue on an upcoming card?
Yes, they did. So if he wins that, then you can maybe argue, down the line.
Yes.
But if he loses that fight, then I say give it to somebody who's already earned it, like Kim or Yang. You kind of have to, don't wait. You kind of have to for the summer or something, I think.
Oh, okay, well, I mean, hey, did Kai coming out of that fight injury free? Because it was an absolute banger. They were both banging back and forth.
If he came out of that, if he broke his hand, I wouldn't be surprised. But I haven't heard anything about injuries. Well,
okay, cool.
I mean, other than getting banged up, I mean, he did take some damage, but other than that, as far as I know, no injuries.
Well, because he doesn't mind sitting out for a while. So if you want to wait until the Inoue fight plays out to see if that matchup can happen, go for it. Why not?
Okay.
Or if you want to get him right back in there, get him a counter offer to get him back in the Rizin ring instead of having him get lowballed by the UFC. Absolutely do the Soo Choo Kim fight, or have Soo Choo Kim and Ji Young Yang battle out to see who could get the Kai fight for the title. I mean, there's plenty of options, I think.
Sorry, Jaywolf, to cut you off, but I want to make sure we get through his card.
Wait.
Just see if we can get there everything. So let's talk about Clever Koike putting Yutaka Saito to sleep in a pretty competitive fight that it looked like Saito was possibly on his way to winning, and then he left his neck out, which he shouldn't have. So yeah, what do you think of Clever Jaywolf in this fight?
Clever's he's been an impressive fighter for his entire Rizin run. It also just goes to show you that Kanehara is a worthy title challenger because he beat Clever fair and square. I mean, just no doubt about it. So that is, I mean, that's a perfect matchup for Chihiro. But anyways, getting back to this fight, Clever and impressive performance. It was the Rizin's first battle between former champions, and Clever, like you were saying, Yutaka Saito was bringing it, bro. He was on his way to winning, but Clever, like I was telling you guys in the preview, he's one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters for the lighter weight divisions. Him and his teammate Satoshi De Souza, and those two. I mean, dude, if you want to play around the ground with those two, you better be able to protect your neck, because those guys are coming to choke you out or grab a limb to rip it off and take it home. Their Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is no joke. And Clever, I mean, he just put on just what a great performance from him, a bounce back performance, everything. Just showed you why he was a former champion. So, I mean, but I do not think that he should get another title shot off of this win right there. He should have to face another fighter before, I mean, this should not give him an automatic shot at the winner of Chihiro Kanehara. Plus, that's all the way in May of next year, so that's plenty of time to book him against another contender to see who, and there's plenty of contenders at featherweight too. We were trying to find a contender at bantamweight. I was naming off some fantastic featherweights like Kolesnik, the Russian fighter, another international fighter that they would be a fantastic matchup for him, and all those guys. I mean, there's a bunch of fights for Clever to make for a number one contender fight to see who's next for the title shot. So, but I was just super impressed with his performance, man. I mean, and remember, that was one of the two co-main events. We had a dual main event, two main events, and we had two co-main events, and this one delivered.
Well, I don't think you can have two co-main events. That's why it's called
well, in my word, it was.
Just give me the co-main event, maybe. Jay Chris, what do you think of Clever? What do you think of how do you think? I mean, we've talked to Saito before. We know he's a good fighter, but unfortunately, this was not his. He was doing good, and then he made the big mistake of trying to grapple with him. What do you think of both of these guys?
Yeah, I thought that he kind of, I thought that he had a good fight for like the first two rounds. Excuse me. It was just the fact that in that third round, he was just, let's just say he got whooped. He got destroyed. He got wrecked. He got choked out by the arse choke, by the way. And I think that this doesn't dilute his standings in the Rizin featherweight division. Because he'll always be remembered as the first Rizin featherweight world champion.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to think.
That's true.
Yeah, but you have to think. When it comes down to Clever Koike, he just came off of not only back-to-back losses, but a no contest against the current champion, Chihiro Suzuki. You would have to think that if he were to get an opportunity to fight again in Rizin, which he will not be fighting for the title, wouldn't you think?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I saw a comment from him that's saying that was his last fight on his contract, or it was either his last fight or he had one more. So
who is this? Was this
Clever? Clever said that on Twitter.
Oh, okay. That I didn't know.
So I think they should re-sign him 100%, and put him like Jay Chris was saying. He's got a lot of redemption to do, so he can't be challenging for the title right away. He's got to go through a contender or two to get back to that title shot. But it was a super impressive performance from him. And also you guys are talking about the different. Another thing that I'm seeing the Rizin people talk about has been the rankings and implementing some rankings. So if they start doing some rankings, maybe Clever's going to be up there in the top 5 of the rankings for sure. So it'd be interesting to see how they rank the featherweight division, which is arguably, if not their strongest division, one of their strongest divisions for sure.
I would argue it's not as strong though, because you kind of is a little bit of a what do you call it? The problem is that so let's say that Kanehara wins or Chihiro wins. Is that if Clever, like you said, Clever has to get somebody else because you already had those 2 fights already. Saito already lost. Mikuru shouldn't get anything, but the problem is that they may just want to push him into a fight with either of those two because of his popularity. We'll talk about him later, but listen, if there's anybody who is even close in featherweight, I would say probably Nee more than even Kolesnik.
You love your boy Nee, man. That was an impressive performance by him, but I mean, you brought up Kolesnik. What about Takeda dropping down?
Well, he has to fight first. Let him fight first, then we can see how he does.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm with you there. Let him fight first. Let him fight, and then I'll sort the division out. Or we could do a Grand Prix. That'll sort the division out real quick.
Big question I have for you, for Jaywolf. I'll start with you. What's next for Saito? This was his first time being submitted. He was doing good at first. I would say the second round. Actually, I'll say he if you were judging round by round, he won. Then he just this happened. What do you think what should be next for him?
I don't know. It's definitely a step down, and it should be somebody coming off a loss as well. So I mean, he's who else? Who do you think who's coming off a loss right now at featherweight that you think would be good to put him up against? I mean. It
would probably be a shitty fight, but Dominator.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Very grindy fight. I don't know if Chris, you have anybody in mind?
I mean, as in who would be fighting Clever next?
Oh no.
Saito.
To be honest, and I'm looking at my comments. I mean, wouldn't it be best to have a fight between? Excuse me. Wouldn't it be best to have a fight between Yutaka Saito and Kyoji Horiguchi?
But he's already fighting. That's the thing. I would say that. No, I would agree with that. But he's already fighting. Yeah.
And tell people who he's fighting. He's coming up on the next upcoming cards this year.
I totally forgot who he's fighting. I know he's fighting, but I know. The grappler. Takeda. He's facing Takeda.
Yeah.
They love putting him against grapplers. I forgot.
That's coming up on March 23rd. March 23rd for that one.
Maybe it would be best for Yutaka to be waiting in the wings because there's not really that many contenders in the featherweight division, especially on the Rizin roster, to match him up against.
Well, Kobe Day says Clever needs number 1 contender match next. I don't know. No, I still no. I don't know. I'd say 2 matches, maybe. 2 matches, unless there's an injury and you can't. You need to for a Nagoya or something. But because he's already faced Chihiro and both Kanehara already. So I think you need to wait a little bit. Kobe Day says Saito versus Ilkham Nazimov. I forgot who did he beat again at the Azerbaijan show. I forgot who he beat, but I remember he had a pretty good.
Let me go ahead and check real quick because I know that.
While you're checking that, you forgot to read Falling Star's comment about the numbers that the Rizin pulled on Twitter. They got over 150,000 posts on Twitter. That's more than a lot of UFC, even some of their pay-per-views get. And they were trending they were even trending from the weigh-ins on. I was seeing the weigh-ins. For the weigh-ins, they scored 15,000 impressions on Twitter. And I mean that's pretty impressive. There was people that were paying attention to this New Year's Eve mega event for sure. And just look at how many articles have come out about the Mayweather Pac-Man rematch that's coming out. I mean, I saw your articles on Yahoo, on Boxing. I mean, all these places about that. So, dude, people are paying attention.
And that's why that comment from Sugisaka Phenomenon says Horiguchi Ichiban, Horiguchi #1. And by the way, Ilkam Nazimov defeated Juarez, the crazy Cameroonian Daya.
That was it, yes. That was it, yes. Okay. Sorry, guys. We're going to move on. And I know Jaywolf's going to want to talk about this, but Rem Hero defeated Gravelface.
Jaywolf? Rukia Ampo. But still, though, that fight was just... I mean, the entrances alone for that particular fight was worth me staying up for. Mm-hmm. No, wait, actually wrong. I'm an idiot. That's not Rukia Ampo. That's Yaman.
Yaman, yes, sir.
Yeah, the entrances for this fight was worth me staying up for that entire card, especially given all the pomp and circumstances behind it, and that just led to an even more beautiful contest. But come to think of it, Andrew, from your perspective, what did you think of it?
I mean, yeah, no, this fight delivered in every way. Absolutely did. It was funny to see because I thought, Yaman would be much more ready for the grappling, but no, he got grappled pretty heavily by Ren Hiramoto, which, I mean, I thought that would happen because in the Kotomura fight, he defended against Kotomura's takedown. So I don't know if that's because Kotomura was batted or Ren Hiramoto was just, I don't know. Yeah, so, but no, they both did well. Even Yaman was great in defeats. He'll be back. He'll definitely be back. I don't know what to do with Ren Hiramoto next. That's what I'm going to ask to you, Jaywolf. What do you think of this fight and what should be with Ren next? Chris, there's a lot of background noise coming from your ends. Sorry to say. There's a lot of background noise coming from your end. Yeah. Jaywolf?
Thanks, brother. This is one of my must-watch fights. It was the people's main event. That, I mean, as you saw from the Confession series leading up to this bout, I mean, the Japanese fans, they just loved this bout. They loved Ren Hiramoto. There was kids and girls asking for, Ren Hiramoto's autograph and stuff at the pressers and stuff. And Yaman was saying, okay, Ren's the hero. I'm the villain. I'm embracing that role as the villain. And I mean, it was just, and then the fight, like Jay Chris was saying, the walkouts were absolutely sensational. Yaman's walkout, you just need to pick a better song, but I don't think it beat Yaman's walkout at Rizin 42 earlier this year. I still think Rizin 42 was the walkout of the year because it had the better song with this walkout and the dancing girls as well. But this one was sensational.
I mean, what are your overall thoughts about the Black Eyed Peas showdown with that 20th Century Fox, now 20th Century Studios intro?
Dude, I love it.
Match, I think, right? I think the first time was he did that for the match, I believe, and that's been his thing.
Yes, but the one that got a pop from the crowd was at Rizin 42 because he had a fantastic song. It was like Michael Calfan with Axwell, and it was like called Resurrection or something like that. And it was a banger, a techno house style song. And then he had the girls dancing with it, waving the flags that said Yaman in their skimpy outfits and stuff. And the crowd loved it at Rizin 42. And then it goes into the 20th Century Fox intro, the movie intro, and then it goes into the Black Eyed Peas banger song. But look, at Rizin 42, with that, the better song intro before the 20th Century Fox, I think that Rizin 42 was the walkout of the year, but this one at New Year's Eve definitely was a contender. And if you don't mind the song not being as good, this one at New Year's Eve would have been walkout of the year because he had the girls were in their full on like Vegas showgirl style get ups and everything, and then Randy come walking out to I forget who he was paying homage to on his walkout as well, but they both had sensational walkouts. And then the fight itself, bro, the people's main event, absolutely lived up to the billing. Absolute banger from start to finish. I was so impressed with it, and just, you know, I was impressed with Ren Hiramoto's growth as a mixed martial artist as well. He was not only just striking, he was mixing in grappling, mixing in takedowns and everything. And Yaman was just, I mean, they were both just ultra tough fighters, had showcased fantastic chins, fantastic striking, just absolute banger.
Okay.
From beginning to end, man. It was just, man, I loved it. I absolutely loved
it. Sorry, I gotta cut you off. You went a little bit over time, but I want to go to Jay. Yes. What should be next for Ren Hiramoto after this win?
You already know. It's Mikuru Asakura.
I'll go to Chris first.
Oh, okay.
What should be next for Ren Hiramoto after this win?
To be honest, I really don't know, especially considering the fact that there's a whole lot of potential in Ren Hiramoto, especially given the fact that he defeated Yaman. But I think that if you look all the way down at the top of the card, I think that his next fight would be against Suguru Ni, your favorite fighter, wouldn't it?
That's interesting. I don't think Jaywolf, you were thinking about that, though. You're thinking about
No. You know who I'm thinking of? I'm thinking about Mikuru Asakura. Make that super fight now. And you know what? You can even make that the number one contender.
That's a New Year's Eve fight, I think, in my opinion. Or Super Rising.
Oh, no. I think it could be a Super Rising 2 summer blockbuster super fight.
Either New Year's Eve or Super Rising, but you can't do it for like a regular number show. That's something that you have on a special show, in my opinion.
Okay. Well, hey, I think that should be next. Ren is coming off a sensational win here. Oh, you haven't built his gravel face. I think they were trying to say that he's stone faced or something like that. I think that's where that's coming from. But Yaman, it was just that was a fantastic win for Ren. Mikuru, I think Mikiru's coming off a win as well right now. This is the time to match him up right now. Okay. You know, and if you want to do the Super Rise a little bit early before, around May or June. Well, I guess they're having in May, they're having Chihiro Kanehara. Yeah. So I guess in June, the next month could be Super Rising. That could absolutely headline Super Rising. Ren Mikuru. That sells itself right there for Japanese fans.
Jay Chris, for Yaman, should he do an MMA fight next, or should he do a kickboxing match next?
I don't know. The world is his oyster too. Because you have to think about it. Yaman only did this out of a whim. Now he's 1-1 in mixed martial arts. 0-1 in actual fights, not special rules fights. But to be honest, I really don't know what's next for Yaman because, he can bring the entertainment value of a Vegas sideshow to a fight card, but I don't know who would he be penciled in to face off against next. Oh, and Code Mayday is saying, Hiramoto versus Asakura at the Tokyo Dome. I don't know. I think that maybe. I think maybe it would be best to see Yaman versus Asakura at the Tokyo Dome, if that's even possible.
Nah, Yaman's coming off a loss now to Ren. It's got to be Ren.
If Yaman does do kickboxing, there's one opponent that he will absolutely defeat, and he would smoke him, Genji Umeno. That's the only. He would smoke him immediately, and he gets a quick win, I think.
Well,
speaking of kickboxers, what about Rukia Ampo?
He's way above. He's way above his weight class. Yaman would say yes, but I would not recommend that. That would be career suicide. That would be physical suicide.
Hey, I actually did.
If the Jaywolf, what about Anpo and Ren have no love lost for each other? That's one thing that they shit talk each other all the time. Do you think that could be something? Or
in kickboxing? In kickboxing or no? Or in mixed martial arts?
Well, yeah, I think after watching Anpo and MMA, I don't think. There's a little. He needs a few more years practice.
Hey, and Code Mayday, I won't hate this. That's fine. I'm fine with Yaman doing kickboxing. I love it when he does the open finger glove, the small glove kickboxing. I love that at the match. He was one of the stars of the match. So I mean, he was at Rise as well doing the open finger glove kickboxing. I absolutely would be all in favor of him doing that. You know what I love at kickboxing is the 8-man one night Grand Prix. That's
Okay.
what I love at
Jaywolf,
kickboxing.
sorry to cut you off, but we gotta move on, and we gotta
Oh,
go.
yeah, I'm responding to the commenters, bro. That's all.
Yeah, but we got to talk about a I guess bittersweet moment with Izawa retiring Miyu by choking her out in front of her entire family and in front of 23,000 people. So, but Jaywolf, what did you think about this? What do you think of the fight overall?
I mean, look, Siki Izawa, I call her a superstar flower because she's a legitimate up and coming superstar in the women's division, in the women's mixed martial arts. Period. She's a superstar, and as you know from the preview show, I didn't like this matchup because I mean I pretty much knew it was going to go. I'm just glad that it was a submission instead of a vicious knockout loss for Miyu. I did not want to, but hey. Miyu was retiring. She's the legend of the sport as well in Japan for wrestling and everything, right? So I had no problem with them, giving her a big fight for her last fight. And if they wanted to give her a shot at the undefeated champion Izawa, even though it wasn't for the belt, that was fine. I'm just glad that it was, like I said, not a devastating knockout for Miyu because I mean she's a fantastic. If you listen, Jay Krish has just fantastic interviews with Miyu. With Jay Krish, your interviews were fantastic, brother, and I recommend everybody check those out on Focus Fights Audio. Jay Krish did a great job with those, and Miyu's. I mean, you could tell Miyu really had a love for the sport and for wrestling, everything. So. It was sad to see her retire, but at the same time, it was great to see Siki superstar flower Izawa just show why she is the woman to beat in the women's mixed martial arts. Period. I think she's one of the top in the world, if not the top, especially for the atomweight division. She's the A side. So if someone like Lionheart Jill from Invicta wants to come over and challenge her, I'll be all for that as well. But I mean, she definitely needs to step up in competition, maybe from some international competition or to rematch Park, or because that was a kind of a close fight. But Siki Izawa, she is a superstar in the making, and she showed you why, just finishing the fight like she's supposed to. And Miyu, happy trails riding off in the sunset. Miyu, you're a great fighter, and just appreciate everything you've done for the sport and wrestling and everything. And paid great homage to her brother Kid Yamamoto. I think I said on TV show, I got to correct that. I said that a kid was her son. That's her brother. So I got to correct that. But just a great. I don't know if you saw that it had a great tribute show to Kid that they had shown during New Year's Eve as well, or around New Year's Eve as well. So. And if you listen to Jay Krish's fantastic interviews with Miyu, she's talking about the legacy that she wants to leave in the sport as a Yamamoto and honoring Kid as well. And so that, the Yamamoto legacy in the sports is never forgotten. And I think she accomplished that. So, even though it was a loss, but good stuff from her and great stuff from Izawa as usual.
Jay Chris, your thoughts on this fight? Miyu's final.
To be honest, this fight is probably the saddest that Rizin has had since the Aoki versus Sakuraba fight 8 years earlier. I mean, it felt like there wasn't a damn dry eye in the house. I mean, I was definitely invigorated in seeing the fight itself. Especially considering that Miyu paid homage to his brother Kid Yamamoto by coming out to TOK's I Believe, and then the Notorious B.I.G. as well. The late, great Notorious B.I.G. But still, though, point of the matter is that fight had all the feels wrapped up into it. I mean, yeah, we all know that Miyu was, I mean, I wouldn't say a lovable loser, but the fact that she couldn't get any wins via finish in her MMA career is just like sad to me. I mean, it's like women's boxing, you know, especially with fighters having no knockouts. But still, though, the point of the matter is the fight was emotional from start to finish. Both ladies were crying, Izawa more so than Miyu.
No, Zawa crying? Never.
Yes, it was shown on it. It was caught in 4K. Izawa was crying like a little girl after that particular fight just because she was beating one of her heroes. I mean, still though, point of the matter is that fight was emotional from start to finish, and it was really cool to see Miyu get her flowers. I almost thought that they were just going, you know, dim the lights on her and just tell her to get the hell out the ring.
No, they would never do that to her. That was they did a fantastic. The retirement ceremony is one of the staple of Japanese mixed martial arts.
Well,
So
actually, not just a staple in Japanese MMA, it's a staple in all of Japanese combat sports: pro wrestling, kickboxing, Muay Thai, grappling, you name it. But still, though,
it was great to see. Great
I
to
was
see.
happy to see Miyu get her flowers. And thank you for putting over my interview, Jaywolf. I really appreciate
Of course, brother.
it. Pretty much said the same thing. Well, actually, no. The one thing I can say, and we're going to have to move on, is that she really was true. I mean, I really was being truthful with her that as long as people actually, you know, don't brush Kid Yamamoto's legacy aside, people will remember what a badass he was. And I think the same thing applies for Miyu as well, because, yeah, she may have now been a 6'9" mixed martial artist or whatever you say, but still, though, let's not forget, this woman's a badass. She's got her husband. She's got her son, both of whom are MMA fighters. She got her brother-in-law still pitching in Major League Baseball. And as long as they're still, I mean, even though I really am not the big Yu Darvish fan that I am, obviously I'm an Astros fan. But as long as they're still Yamamoto's in some way, shape, or form in this game, I better believe, no, I know to believe that Kid Yamamoto's legacy will continue for decades to come. And that's on period. Now, go ahead and continue.
I was also going to just quickly say, listen, you know what? At least she did well in the first round. I would, if you're judging from my round, she at least, got a solid round win over Izawa. I know that's not saying a lot. That's still
Come
saying
to think of it, Andrew, would you say that she won 20? I mean, would you say that she won that first round 10-9 or 10-7?
10-9. But hey, you know what? It was bittersweet. Overall emotions were all over the place with this show, both sad and I'm like, I think it's probably better that this fight happened in New Year's Eve, I think, rather than earlier. I think it made it seem a lot more special, the final fight.
Yeah, and it was in front of a huge crowd too. We forgot to mention that over 20,000 sold tickets filled the Saitama Super Arena. I mean, I thought it was 30,000, but I don't know if it was a typo or what, but apparently it was at least 20,000 plus sold tickets. So Miyu was going out with a fantastic ceremony.
30,000 based on the how they set up the arena. It wouldn't be possible because with the ring and the thing, it wouldn't be. If they didn't have anything, it was just like a mat and just seats, and yeah, they could get that's 30,000.
Okay, but for sure they got over 20,000 paid, ticket sales. So there was a massive crowd there to see Miyu's retirement.
We can look forward to seeing her in BKFC. Anyway, just kidding.
Ain't no way we're gonna see Miyu Yamamoto and BKFC.
That'll be hilarious though. Rollins versus Miyu in a BKFC. Listen, take my money. David, what's the guy who runs it again? David Feldman. David Feldman. Hey Chris, I'm gonna throw this fight to you first because you talked to him as well. Mikio Ueda. So he was confident in the interview that you gave, and yeah, he taught Cesaro some lessons in head kick defense, or I should say head knee defense. But what did you think of this fight, J. Chris?
Well, it was just like what Mikio said in the last moments of the interview that got cut before I woke up out of a dream. Heavyweights fight differently. And in that particular fight, we just got a little taste of that. We basically got shown the real reason why a heavyweight fights differently, because Ueda was just two-piecing Sudario, making Ensign Inoue think differently of him. I mean, come to think of it, that fight was just start to finish, Ueda just dominating, you know? And I think that in given time, I mean, considering that Ueda's now 3-1, we could possibly see, you know, Rizin crown a heavyweight champion, and it just might be Mikio Ueda, and he might have a K1 title over his shoulder too.
Yeah.
I mean, come to think of it, just one thing before you pass it on to Jaywolf. I think that if we were, I mean, obviously this fight won't happen now or right away, but if we were to potentially see a fight between the recent K1 tournament winner Liu She and Mikio Ueda, I think Ueda will win that fight 10 times out of 10. Let's be real on that one. I think if we were to see Ueda, you know, face off against Liu She in K1 and then bounce back and fight in Rizin, we would see Ueda become, you know, well, a larger-than-life Japanese combat sports star. Wouldn't you say?
I think so. He's definitely on the way. Yeah, Jaywolf, thoughts on this? You know, yeah, what do you think of this fight?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. You know, I love the heavyweight action with the big boys swinging big leather, and just, you know, it delivered exactly what it was. A sumo guy, Sudario, was a sumo crossover versus the karate guy.
Sumo. That's way.
Oh, come on! Hey, that's a fantastic selling point. You know, on Teep to the Junk show, you were on that show with me, Drew. That was one what he was looking forward to the most. Is one of that fight is because it was a sumo guy versus a karate guy, and it delivered the goods. I mean, the Ueda just for a big guy. Dude, he's got sensational kicks, bro. I mean, besides the knockout, that was a kick knee to the face.
He's got the best head kicks. I mean, he's tall. He's like 6'1", 6'2", but
yeah,
his reach and his flexibility is something else.
Yes, and his form is sharp, bro. His form is absolutely sharp for a big man. It's impressive to watch. It's like, I mean, I don't want to put him on Crow Cop level yet, but the guy has got fantastic kicks and striking. You can definitely tell he's from a karate. How do you say it? The Kyokushin background, Kyokushin karate background. I mean, you can.
Karateka.
Yes, and you could tell because it was, dude, very impressive performance, sensational finish, but from the kick knee to the face of Sudario. I mean, just. You saw how butthurt Sudario was about it. I mean, because Sudario was saying potentially there was if Sudario won, he was possibly going to go to the UFC afterwards, right? Because he was training in Vegas, had a meeting with Dingleberry, Dana White, all that stuff. So, I mean, Ueda just took that from him and got the KO. And I love what Ueda was saying on the mic about building the division and getting a heavyweight title going. I mean, I would love to see that. I was really impressed with Ueda. I can't wait to see him fight again. And they got some heavyweights that they can bring in to fight him. So I'm really excited about the future.
I'll ask you that next year, Jaywolf. What should be next for Ueda? What should be next for Sudario?
Okay, didn't Ueda? Does he have a loss to Shibasai? Let me look it up real quick just to make sure.
I don't think.
No, Ueda didn't lose to Shibasai. He lost to Tsuyoshi Kosaka.
Okay, and that was his first fight. So never mind about that. Unless you, I mean, I don't know if you want to run that back, but that was his first fight. So I don't really. I mean, look, there's a bunch of other heavyweights that we can match him up with, right? or
I wouldn't say a bunch.
yeah, okay, yeah. Excuse me. There is several heavyweights that we can match him up with.
I like what Jay Chris said about the kickboxing fight in K1 against Say, the Chinese guy.
Yeah. So you want him to do a crossover kickboxing bout? I mean, I would be all for that as well. I don't know if you put him up against the upper echelon of the kickboxing world, because the guy that Jay Chris is talking about, you just said, is the winner of the K1 Grand Prix, right?
You could just do whatever you can't find anybody. You just put him against Toshi Ishii. That's what they do. You can't find Ishii.
Yes.
That would be an easy fight for anybody these days. Just have them kick Satoshi Ishii's ass for 3 rounds. That would be fun.
But it would be cool to see him cross over to kickboxing. I love how that's a trend with the rising Japanese stars these days are both kickboxers and mixed martial artists and crossing over from one to the other. Chihiro is an active kickboxing champion and mixed martial arts champion. And later on we're going to talk about Ryujin Nasukawa, Tenshin's little brother. He had a sensational performance on one of the card of the years, maybe even the card of the year for kickboxing on Rise World Series final. And he right after that was like barely a couple of weeks ago, before the New Year's Eve performance. We've had a sensational performance in mixed martial arts. So I love the trend of Japanese guys going back and forth between kickboxing and mixed martial arts.
What about Sudario then? What do you do with Sudario, Jay Chris?
To be honest, I don't know. Because if Ensign Inoue doesn't have anything planned for him, or doesn't have anything on the cards for him, then what really can you do with Sudario other than put him on a damn landmark show against a guy from this side of the Pacific that has no name? Okay, why the hell are you doing this? I don't.
Sudario versus his brother, Takakenshi.
Drew Dream fight.
Come on.
Come on, man. Nobody wants to see that.
Drew wants to see that. I would love to see that.
If anything, feed him to the Kaiju Killer.
Oh, there you go. The Kaiju Killer that destroyed Sudario's brother. And but Sudario's brother was winning that bout. But he just didn't know the assignment, didn't use enough superior rule set awesomeness to win that bout. Otherwise, he would have won. But that's a good idea, Jay Krish. The Kaiju Killer, that match him up against Sudario. Sudario can get revenge for his brother. Or there's guys like
actually, he probably would. He would be happy to not get revenge for his brother. Probably would shake his hands. Give him a hug.
Hey, what about Kalyu? What about Kalyu?
Oh, Kalyu Gilbrain de Oliveira? Yeah. I would definitely want. I mean, that fight would just be like Godzilla versus King Kong levels of violence. But come on. Who wouldn't want to see Tsuyoshi Sudario versus Hidetaka Arato, a.k.a. the Kaiju Killer?
I'm not opposed to it. I still want to see him and his brother duke it out, have them sell the score to each other. I don't want to really talk a lot about this fight because we kind of talked a little bit about it before, but if you have any last thing to say about Ogi Kubo snapping that 3-fight losing streak, beating John Dodson, Jaywolf, I'll start with you. Any thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, I mean, I was disappointed because, of course, I wanted John Dodson to win and become the #1 contender to challenge Kyoji Horiguchi for the flyweight belt. And, of course, that didn't happen. Hiramasa Ojikubo put on a masterclass and just beat him fair and square. What else can you say? He beat him, and it was no doubt about it. Just on that night, he was just a better fighter. That's all there is to it. I mean, Hiramasa, just a savvy veteran. This is a bout between two tough Ultimate Fighter veterans, and Hiramasa just came out on top, man, and just he got the better of John Dodson. So, like I said, it was a bummer for me because I was rooting for John Dodson. I really wanted him to become a title challenger, but Hiramasa he had other plans, bro, and it was an okay fight, and just now we just got to see what happens next. With Dodson, maybe match him up against Shinryu for like we were saying earlier, I thought that was a great idea because they're both coming off losses. They're both were looking to be number one contenders and stuff. So, and then OG Kubo, I don't think you should give him a title shot. I do not think you should do the fourth match with Kyoji. Absolutely not. I think you got to give him another contender. Like maybe Temirov or somebody, right? That could be next in line for the title shot. But of course, you know what I want, Drew. That's a flyweight Grand Prix.
But so just Jay Chris, I know. What do you think of just a quick thoughts about Okubo winning over Dodson? What does this now do to flyweight now? It kind of fucks it up in a way.
Yes, it does, because Dodson was out of his element in that entire fight, and when you look at the fact that all his losses are by a decision, I mean, most of the times when he lost via decision, which is now 14, I mean, the dude was out of his element, so to speak.
Actually,
yeah. I mean,
sorry. Go ahead.
I don't know what the hell you do with John Dodson now, other than the fact that you got to have him fight somebody. I mean, I would say either Joe Arai or Temirov from Tajikistan. I mean, that was
Shinryu.
What about who?
Shinryu. Makoto Shinryu.
Yeah, Makoto. Yeah, that was a fight between Makoto and Dodson would definitely be worth watching. But as far as Ogi Kubo goes, nobody wants to see a fourth fight between him and Horiguchi. That's pretty much for certain. I don't care if he won or not. Nobody wants to see that.
The thing is that they would probably promote it as this is the second time that they're fighting at flyweight, because the first one was catchweight, second was bantamweight. No, the first one was Shudo bantamweight, second was catchweight, third was bantamweight. No, third was flyweight, right? I don't even know at this point. They fought so much. Actually, I just thought of this right now. I'm sorry. If you want to give Dodson an easy win, because I think they're going to definitely bring Dodson back, give him Yusaku Nakamura. I think he heems Nakamura very easily, because but then Nakamura has a win over Takagi Soya for whatever reason. I don't know why. But that's the one thing I can think of. Sorry, Chris?
I mean, come to think of it, you're right about that. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Ogi Kubo versus Soya, but I mean, shit. But then again, I don't want to see Ogi Kubo Horiguchi 4. But what I do want to see is Japan top team's very own Vince Morales get an opportunity to put himself over. I mean, did you see how he destroyed Yuki Motoya's face at Rizin 45?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is what happens when he goes to ATT and thinks he's a striker now, Motoya. So I mean, yeah, Jaywolf. I mean, here's the thing. I'll say this: it was definitely a great striking clinic on Morales' part, but obviously Motoya won in the grappling exchanges, and you could, this was Motoya. I think a few years ago, I think he would have submitted Morales, but. No, I can't fault Morales. His first stint with the superior rule set, and his game plan worked. What do you think of this fight?
I loved it. I love it when the foreign fighters, especially the American fighters, come fight under the superior rule set of the Epic Rizin. So I was really looking forward to this one. And Vince Morales did not disappoint. He threw some grounded knees, if you noticed. So it was, just a sensational performance from Vince Morales. Can't wait to see him fight and the Epic Rizin again. Just like you guys were saying, he just overwhelmed Motoya with just more volume striking and just brutalized Motoya's face, and just it was such a great performance from him. Motoya could not keep up with that volume, and the grappling exchanges. Yeah, Motoya was scoring some takedowns, but Morales was showing some excellent stand-up ability and takedown defense, and that's from his time in the UFC, and also he was undefeated in Bellator as well. So I was really impressed with the way that he was able to stand up from being, because Motoya, we know that Motoya knows how to grapple and keep guys down and get to submission, right? So it was impressive in all facets of mixed martial arts, seeing how Vince Morales just He outclassed Montoya. Let's keep it real. He outclassed him, and it was really impressive. I loved it. As an American fighter, man, I love to see that.
So, what do you think should be next for Vince Morales? Listen, we know that Yuki Montoya will be back. I don't know who you would face him next, but what about Vince Morales? I think he'll definitely, especially because he was in Japan, he's got a Japanese fiance. He'll be back. What would you do with him next, Jaywolf?
Oh, throw him in if not a number one contender fight, get him
wait, number one contenders? Did you just say number one contenders?
No, I said if you're not going to put him in the contenders fight.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you said number one.
Yeah, well, I did say number one contender by accident. Sorry, I was talking fast, trying to. But anyways, I meant if you're not going to put him in a contenders fight, definitely move him up the ladder, put him in another fantastic match against a tough opponent. And someone coming off of a win. Do not put him against someone coming off a loss. I mean, Morales showed he knows the assignment. He threw some ground at knees, and he's an excellent fighter. So you got to match him up with a guy coming off a win to keep moving up the ladder towards that title shot.
Gotcha. What about you, J. Chris? What do you do with Morales and Montoya next?
Well, first of all, when it came down to this particular fight, I was really surprised at how well Morales did. Because this ain't the same guy that fought 8 times in the UFC and twice in Bellator. This man was pretty much different. He was an ass kicker in fights. And he really did show in, brutalizing Yuki Montoya. But as far as next fights goes for either one of these men, I really don't know what you do with either of them. Because to be honest, this was Morales' first fight, and he passed the test with flying colors. Montoya, obviously, if you heard on the broadcast by Mr. Joe Ferraro, this was Montoya's 18th time coming into Rizin competition. I don't know what you do with him now, considering the fact that he lost. But I guess you just make him an attraction fighter, so to speak, if he doesn't have any deep duties to go through. As far as Morales goes, you got to keep him busy somehow, especially with his connections to the Asakura brothers.
I think, I don't know, is it too much to put him up against Cozy, who won?
It would be helpful if that fight were to happen.
But I know, yeah, like you said, he's got deep duties. He'll probably get a fight next in deep, and he'll beat whoever they have. He'll come back to Rizin. But actually, I think we can kind of talk about maybe who Morales should face next with this next match that happens. If I can find my fucking banner.
Or how about a Grand Prix? Just throwing it out there. Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah, it is. So, yeah, a match that made
no sense. Shinobu Oka quickly beats Ryusei Catfish Ashizawa.
Yeah, so, Jaywolf, I don't know. I have nothing to really say about this fight because it kind of just went exactly how we thought it was going to go.
Yeah, as everybody knows from the preview show, we were upset about this one because Ota is an Olympic silver medalist wrestler and just totally exactly like we predicted. Catfish was coming in here with his debut. You can't throw a kickboxing crossover in their debut mixed martial arts matchup against a freaking Olympic silver medalist wrestler, okay? This is what happens. Ota this is one of the more brutal finishes of the night as well. He choked him out and then hit him with some coffin nail hammer fists, right? So just, man, it was cool, brutal finish, obviously, but it's cool to see Ota get a win. But it was like, what does that really do for him? I guess because I'm back on the winning track, but it was against a kickboxing crossover, so it's not like. You can't take Ota and give him a title shot after that, right? So it was just, besides being a cool finish, it was kind of a waste of a fight for him. Yeah. But, still, it was good to see him perform, obviously, but we didn't get any suplexes. But still,
he didn't need to. He didn't need to waste all that energy. Risk putting out his back.
Oh, hey, look, Kobe Day said Ota called out Morales. Nice. I like it. If they're not going to do a Grand Prix, I like it. But hey, that might be a big step up for Ota. Morales is a very savvy veteran, as we just saw.
Yeah,
so that would be a very big test.
He at least has the legitimate wrestling that will make it competitive, I think. And I don't think it's that much of a one-sided thing. Jay Chris, thoughts on this fight?
Oh, yeah. This fight was a squad. I mean, yeah, we get it. Shinobu Ota, world-class amateur wrestling standout. But this fight was simply a squash match. Let's be real.
Ota's not amateur wrestler, though, Jay Chris. He's Olympic wrestler.
I know.
Okay.
Use some terminology here that would probably apply to the situation.
Okay.
Ryusei, Ryusei tried to pull too much of his old Roy Jones Jr. shtick, singing along to the crowd, trying to be a bootleg RJ, so to speak. But still, though, that fight was simply a squash fight. I don't know what you do, Ryusei Catfish Ashizawa, after this. Just get him the hell away from my screen. But as far as the Ota Morales fight goes, now that we're talking about it and now that the call-outs have been made, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight go down, particularly and possibly for, Super Rizin in the summer.
The one fight that they should have done is Catfish versus Kyoji in MMA. And Kyoji said he still wants to do that match in Kobe. I think he said he wants to do it, or Osaka.
What about Ampo? Since Ampo also lost.
You want Ampo to go up against Catfish? Are you insane?
If they're going to do mixed martial arts still.
Lightweights. Ampo's a lightweights.
Oh, sorry. Oh, wrong weight class. My bad. Okay. Sorry about that. Never mind.
That's okay.
I was thinking kickboxing crossover coming off losses. So.
Well, I don't know. Well, the other thing you could also just do is give Ashizawa an easy kickboxing match next. I don't know. What about the possibility of Ashizawa versus Yaman in MMA?
Oh, there you go. I like it. That's not that bad.
You know
that's
what?
Actually pretty cool.
That would be fun, especially considering, the pomp, the circumstance, the promos, the build-up, and the entrances would probably all be better than the fight itself.
Mm-hmm. We don't know that though. Hey, that's a great idea, Drew. And I agree wholeheartedly with Jay Krish on his. I mean, from the trash talking to the fight itself. I mean, the walkouts to the fight itself. Yeah. That's a good one. I like that matchmaking.
Well, we're gonna move on to another debut, but this one a successful one. Victory. And by the way, I don't know if you found out later, but yeah, he got a yellow card for grabbing the ropes like near the end, which commentary just totally. That was bothering me throughout the whole night.
Okay. So that's what it was. He grabbed the ropes, but during the soccer kick, or what?
Yeah, he held it for I think more than 2 seconds or a second or something, and he got the yellow card.
Oh my! Then why the heck was Kinoshita disqualified?
At least he didn't get a disqualification. Be happy with that.
Yeah. What the heck? Why did they disqualify Kinoshita but give Kyoji a yellow card? That's not fair. That's because Kinoshita, that was on the trigger first card. Because that would have been knockout of the year.
Because grabbing a cage fence holds more leverage than grabbing a ring rope.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Gosh. Man.
But Jaywolf, this is your type of finish. What do you think? How do you think Kyoji did in his MMA debut?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. Kyoji knows the assignment, baby. He finished with a soccer kick, superior rule set awesomeness, one of the best strikes in the superior rule set awesomeness, a pride rules soccer kick. Nothing better. I mean, the only thing that's better is a flying stomp KO. So, I mean, dude, it was such a great and. How poetic is it that Kota Miura is a Japanese soccer star's son? Kyoji finished him by soccer kick. That was just, man, that's poetic and just I loved it. It was one of the best finishes, if not the best finish of the night. It was just, man, I loved it. It was awesome. I love seeing them soccer kicks. I love the superior rules at awesomeness. That's what makes the Epic Rizin so freaking cool. is their full Pride rules, upgraded Pride rules with 12-6 elbows, the superior rule set awesomeness, and of course the Grand Prix as well. But the superior rule set awesomeness is what makes it so cool and cozy. Bravo, Cozy. You knew the assignment. What a sensational finish.
Jay, Chris, thoughts?
Yeah, it was kind of ironic seeing a soccer player. I mean, the son of one of the oldest soccer players in the world get soccer kick KO'd. I mean, it really was. I mean, but it's kind of like, it's kind of poetic justice. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, that the soccer player got his head kicked in by a kickboxer.
I wouldn't even say that's ironic. That's more kind of just like, because I thought
poetic.
But from a debuting MMA fighter, from a guy who's 35 and making an MMA debut after all these years and only training for, I think, only 8 weeks in that Confessions. So
he was training with Shinya Aoki from the Confessions series, and he was training nothing but grappling. So it was impressive to see him.
We all knew that Shinya Aoki was the last person to turn to for striking advice.
Right, but it showed he had good takedown defense, at least against Kota Miura. I mean, everything. So it worked. I mean, it was impressive.
I want to quickly ask, for Cozy, would you do the MMA fight with Ashizawa next, or would you do kickboxing, some sort of kickboxing thing?
Me first, looking at what people are saying right now, Colt Mayday is saying that Koji Tanaka should face off against Taisei Nishitani next, Mikaru's friend.
Would that be in kickboxing, Code Mayday, or would that be MMA? Because I think Nishitani also did the Fight Club, the open finger glove thing. So which one would it be?
Ooh,
MMA.
Oh, MMA. Okay, gotcha. Okay, Jaywolf, better question for you, Kota Miura. What happens to this poor handsome gentleman after getting his face kicked in?
I don't know. I mean, what can you do with him? I mean, do you redo the Yushi rematch or what do you do with him?
Felipe Massoni, damn it! That fight should have happened.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. Do that then. Do that then. And with Cozy, I mean, what did he say? What he wants to do next? Did he hint that he wants to stay in mixed martial arts or go back to kickboxing?
He said MMA. He said MMA, but he didn't say he was done kickboxing.
Okay, well then whatever he wants to do next, just get him back in the ring. I mean, it was really exciting seeing him know the assignment and use soccer kicks. So I can't wait to see him fight again.
What about?
But most definitely, that Felipe Massoni Kota Miura fight needs to happen like yesterday.
What about Miura versus Ashizawa MMA or no?
Oh. Yeah, because they're both coming off losses. I wouldn't mind it either. Yeah, that'd be a good one. As long as you match up with someone coming off a loss, it's fine. So whoever you guys want, I'll watch 100%.
So as we move to the next one, this one will be quick to talk about. Fat Ninja. I don't know how he's called Fat Ninja anymore. Taking out Shinzo Anzai. Absolutely. Just domination. Jaywolf, I don't know why you thought Anzai had a chance, but what do you think about Fat Ninja?
Because Anzai was 2-2 in the UFC, and Fat Ninja Tanabe, he just steamrolled him. So obviously, we need to bring in some, maybe foreign talent, whatever, for Fat Ninja, because he clearly needs to step up in competition. Just an absolute steamrolling, fantastic performance by Fat Ninja. Tanabe is definitely, I mean, he's one of the rising stars for Rizin. So just bring in some foreign fighters for him to fight. Put him on one of the international cards against the Azerbaijanis or something, right? Or in Saudi Arabia. Or
I got two names in mind after.
Let's hear it. Who are they?
No. I first want to hear what Jay Chris has to say.
Okay.
Then we'll go into it.
Let's just face it. Shinzo Anzai needs to go ahead and hang them gloves up. He done. I mean, his career should have been over after the damn Paul Daly fight. And that was almost 4 years. That was over 4 years ago in this case. As far as Tanabe, 5-0, 5 consecutive, might I add, first round submission victories. I mean, like, seriously, how do you start a career like that and not move on to bigger and better things? I think Rizin should keep him around for as long as he see fit, because if they're not careful, his career may be ruined, because he might go to a certain big promotion way too damn early. As far as what's next for Tanabe, who knows? Bring some foreign talent in. Come on. We all know that the divisions above 77 kilos, 170 pounds, are pretty much unicorn divisions. So come on. Let's see those foreign fighters.
Well, there's a few Japanese fighters. There's only like 3 or 4. Here they are.
Who are they?
They're Keitaro, Strasakichi, Big Souza, Marcos Yoshio. If he can still make it, I don't even know. Like, what he looks much heavier now. Don't know if he could go to 170. Probably at the middleweight.
So have him go fight in middleweight.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Or Sumimura. Those are the 4. Those are the 4 guys. And Sumimura just won the Pancreas King of Pancreas welterweight championship. So you got 4 people in Japan. That's the only 4 that have like any sort of. He already beat one of the best guys that in welterweight, Daichi Abe. That was his first fight in Rizin. So, but yeah, Shinzo Anzai. Either go down to lightweight, or maybe I don't even know if he can even cut weight at this point.
No, I don't think he's gonna go down to lightweight. I think his glamour divisions are either. I mean, let's face it, he's probably money weight at this point, but his glamour divisions are gonna probably be welterweight or middleweight.
Then he's gonna get killed at fucking middleweight if he goes back to that. If he ever fights in that division again. If not, retirement. Yeah, he has not looked good in like many years. And
wait a minute, we're talking about Anzai, right?
Yes, we're talking about Anzai. Yeah.
Oh well, fuck that. He should retire now.
Do you think he should retire, Jaywolf?
Well, yeah. I mean, who else do you match him up with? Unless you want to build somebody else off his name. So, I mean, unless he still wants to keep fighting, maybe put him. You know. I don't know. I'm with Jay Krish. I think he's done. But, you know, who are we to tell a fighter when to hang him up?
I mean, when it becomes BJ Penn level, that's when you tell.
Okay. Well, I don't know if he's at that level yet. I mean, isn't that what they wanted the landmark cards to be in the cage? Is to have like veterans trying to stay relevant versus up and coming guys or whatever that they want to build off veterans' names. Maybe put them in a matchup like that.
Yeah, so the plans change, as they say in wrestling. Sorry guys, we gotta move on. If you can,
let's move on. This is one of the best finishes of the night right here.
Well, it's definitely the case of I mean, underdog being someone who he should never have beat, but yeah, biggest win of his career, Hiroya KOing Joe Arai, double shooter champ. Jaywolf, your thoughts?
I loved it. I love seeing Hiroya get a win finally, and in a sensational fashion. Like I was saying, this is for TKOs. This is probably the best one of the night. And I mean, just man, it was a high kick and some punches that, man, I was real happy to see him finally get that W. And just, man, it was cool. So, but hey, wasn't Joe Arai? He was like a 2 weight division champ in Pancrase, or was it Shuto? Shuto. Okay. So it was kind of a bummer seeing because that if he would have beat Hiroya, he could have been going towards a title shot and Rizin and possibly being like maybe opening a strawweight division. If is he still able to make strawweight?
Well, maybe I looked this up. So Shuto does the 1 championship weights. So strawweight for them is flyweight.
Okay.
That whole thing. Bantamweight is flyweight. So I kind of fucked up when I said I didn't mean literal strawweight. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's not 112 pounds or 115.
Okay, all right, bummer then. I was thinking maybe he could open another division, and because remember one strawweight champion just left, right? So that would have been cool to have, maybe. But anyway, since he's at flyweight and bantamweight, so that can't happen. So never mind about that. So I don't know what you do with them next. Just make sure you match up with somebody coming off a loss as well. You know how I feel about that. You never match up winners and losers. It's just not the momentum is real in this sport. And with Hiroya, man, I don't know if we do what you were saying, Drew, and give him a title shot off of that because he just finally got a W. Finally, even though it was a sensational one with fantastic finish. But I mean, he's got to get in a big fight next. Step up competition. Climbing the ladder because he is a big star, like you were saying, a big name, popular guy, and those decision losses were close. So
sorry, Jaywolf, I gotta cut you off. I want to make sure I
go fine.
to have a say for this fight.
Go ahead.
I think Hiroya Kondo still should not be getting the fights that he should be getting because let's face it, he's now 9-12-1 in mixed martial arts. But hey, it's fun to see an underdog win, right? Especially considering the fact that he knocked out one of the best up-and-coming talents in Japan, and Joe Arai. I mean, as far as the next fight goes for Hiroya, I don't know. Again, I don't like booking guys under 500 that love lose. Oh, Code Mayday says Hiroya versus Urson Yamamoto, so that should be a good fight.
Oh, nice.
Over 500? Does Urson still have like a 4-5 record, or is it
even? Yeah, he does.
Nice matchmaking, Code Mayday. Yeah, good suggestion. I like it.
500 on record. I mean,
yeah, that would be a fun fight. But as far as Joe Arai goes, I mean, we already mentioned the possibilities earlier on in this episode, right?
Yeah, listen, and also he'll be back in Shudo. He'll probably I don't know get a non-title fight in Shudo. Does Shudo do non-title fights? I think they do that, right? They used to.
I would think they do, but still, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, considering the fact that time is of the essence, we got 5 more fights to go. Y'all want to crunch these in?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Yuta Kubo versus Rukia Ampo. Kickboxers clash in mixed martial arts.
Yeah, pretty much went the way it should have. I have nothing else to really say. Jaywolf.
I see Kubo is continuing to grow as a mixed martial artist. He was coming off of a sensational. I don't know if it was his last fight or fight before that, but he had a 12-6 elbow TKO. So it was great to see him follow that up with another win. And I'm really liking these kickboxing crossovers in mixed martial arts. I really like it. And for Anpo, I mean, hey, maybe go back to kickboxing now and get that Kimura fight. They should stop doing drug testing since the UFC is not doing drug testing anymore, or they got rid of USADA or whatever. Then nobody else should have to worry about drug testing anymore if the UFC is doing that. So get Kimura back in there, match him up with Ampo and kickboxing, and then you can try to come back to mixed martial arts after that. Yuta Kubo, keep him climbing the ladder. I mean, I'm really liking to see, and his walkout with Sarah. What was awesome as well. She was out singing on the mic and everything for his walkout, so it's pretty cool. So definitely can't wait to see him come back. But yeah, it was a good match between kickboxing crossovers and good show by Kubo. Nice submission.
Hey, Chris, your thoughts?
Yuta Kubo really did dominate Rukia Ampo, and I think that whatever next fight he should get wouldn't be in a sideshow attraction. As far as Ampo goes, he has a long way to go before actually giving MMA fighters the proper respect, since he just took the equivalent of what Minowa Man gave to Errol Zimmerman 15 years ago.
Yeah, no, I think you said it best. That the Kimura fight, totally forgot about it. He's still suspended, so that's the only fight to do with Ampo. Kubo, listen, I thought they should have done him versus Hagiwara.
You know what? I think Rizin's gonna probably book that Yuta Kubo Philip Manoa Kimura fight for later on this year if Kimura passes his drug test with flying colors.
Yeah. Stop doing drug testing. UFC dumped USADA, so who cares about drug testing anymore? Yeah, UFC does it, so why should anybody else?
This is a respectable promotion. How dare you?
No, we do the same thing that UFC is doing. If they're not doing USADA drug testing, nobody else should have to deal with drug testing anymore. Anyway, let's move on. Let's keep it rolling. Here is Drew's boy right here. Woo! What a sensational knockout. Okay, I want to hear you talk about this one.
On. Jay Chris, go ahead. Sorry.
The bouncer sends Dominator Yamasu to the Shadow Realm or to another dimension. I was overjoyed with excitement off of this fight. even though it sucked that it was on the prelims, it was kind of like that UFC 100 situation where all the best future fighters were put on the prelims. This fight shouldn't have had no business on the prelims. I think it should have swapped spots with the Kubo versus Ampo fight. But still, though, this fight was enjoyable. You, Andrew, probably had more fun watching it. I mean, so I gotta ask you, if you were the Rizin matchmaker, what would you do with Sugalu Ni next?
Listen, he's already King of Pancrase champion. He's been he's on a 3 or 4 fight winning streak at this point, I believe. Listen, maybe not a title shot next, but listen, he deserves somebody. He deserves a high level opponent next. I would even put Kleber like up there, like him versus Kleber, and I think that's also
Really
a very interesting fight. Yeah.
Wow.
And then, listen, you gotta put some new blood in this in the title contention. It can't just be Kleber, Mikaru, Saito. You gotta kind of mix up a little bit. You gotta put a little bit of different people there, and I think Ni definitely has earned his way there. Jaywolf?
Man, I love this fight. It was the knockout of the night, a knockout of the year contender. I saw people saying that online, and man, J. Chris, I gotta disagree with you. I hate to disagree with you, brother, but I gotta disagree. I thought it was great to see this. It was the headliner of the free prelims. This was the main event of the prelims to get people to want to purchase the pay-per-view. And they put on a sensational performance. It was a sensational knockout, arguably the knockout of the night, even better than the soccer kick knockout. That's even possible. Just absolutely flatlined Dominator. So it was just, you can see them. They were calling for the stretcher, right? Or Smith Dominator hit the mat. It was such a gnarly knockout.
He was already out by the time he got hit. He was already out.
Yeah. He was out before he hit the floor. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, the fall to the canvas was for extra effect. Now,
it was
go ahead.
Man, sensational knockout. Just super impressed with me.
Down the card real quick because we're up against it.
Let's skip the kickboxing bout and go to the mixed martial arts bout.
I totally forgot about that fight. I didn't even add it.
So in other words, open kickboxing, continue or nah?
I put it right here. Nothing to really say. It was a mixed match fight between K1 guy and Breaking Down. That's all I gotta say. Anybody have anything else to say?
Yes, it was cool. I liked seeing the open finger glove, the small glove kickboxing bouts. I thought it was cool, and it was a pretty good fight. But again, it was look at how Pop's comment about Dominator. So, anyways, all right, J. Chris, let's finish up with this kickboxing bout before. Oh, hey, Colme Day says it was a good fight. I agree. Yes, it was a good fight, and it was open finger, small gloves. So it was a banger. And remember, it had a couple swings in it to where, the Breaking Down guy, he was really giving it just one of those knockdowns, right? It was a good fight. Okay. Absolutely, I agree. Kobe did 100%. So, all right, let's hurry up. Let's go to the kickboxing crossover potential prodigy, Ryujin. Unless J. Chris, you want to talk about the kickboxing fight some more?
Yeah, of course, real quick. Ryujin Nasukawa knocking out Jungmin Shin in the same form and fashion that Tenshin knocked out, I think, Nikita Saprum 7 years ago. What are y'all thoughts about that? And do you think that this prodigy has a future?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. I absolutely love this performance. This is coming off a couple weeks removed from his sensational performance at Rise World Series, and then he comes up. That was actually one of the highlights of that Rise World Series card. It was arguably the kickboxing card of the year. It was arguably the event of the year for kickboxing. And Ryujin had a sensational performance. He gets on the mic. Sakaki Barasan was in the crowd, and they gave Sakaki Barasan a mic too, and they're interacting with each other. And Ryujin's asking him for a fight, and Bara goes like, "Yeah, oh sure, but we'll throw it on New Year's Eve, but it's got to be mixed martial arts." And Ryujin's like, "Okay, let's do it." And so, sure enough, that happened on New Year's Eve. Absolutely sensational performance from the kid. I was so impressed. He knew the assignment. He was throwing stomps, and he showed the best defense the best armed bar defense in the history is stomps to the face. He was stomping the face to get out of that armbar. He was throwing flying stomps. He was throwing soccer kicks, grounded knees. The kid knew the assignment. Really excelled at the superior rule set awesomeness. I love it.
Give Jay Chris some thoughts. Any thoughts on this, Jay Chris?
I thought the kid done well. I think that he got a bright future in this. Well, he does have a bright future. I mean, his kickboxing career may not say all too well, but if he keeps going in MMA, who knows? He may have a better record. He may have a better record than his brother. Now,
how about he does both? How about he does both, like Chihiro?
Yeah, of course. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the last fight to talk about. The worst being the first, according to Code Mayday. Joe Hiromoto beating Yushi Sakura.
Man, I was disappointed in this one because I like Yushi. He's a good fighter, but it seemed like he lost his mojo. He didn't have his blonde hair. He didn't walk out with a bunch of girls like he usually does. I mean, he still was in a super fly outfit.
Midlife crisis mode. I don't know.
but super impressive from Joe Hiromoto. Who knew? Ren's little brother, Joe Hiromoto, he can fight mixed martial arts. He actually was put on if you guys noticed, he did a really good performance and beat Yushi fair and square.
That's why I should have said he should be the one who faces Kota Miura next. Joe Hiromoto.
There you go. Yes. Oh wait, no, because Kota Miura is coming off a loss and Joe's coming off a win. I mean,
they're both low level enough. They're low level enough.
Okay. All right.
Jay Chris, any thoughts on this fight? Jay Chris?
You're muted.
Chris, I think you're muted. Okay.
No.
That's exactly his thoughts on the fight. That's his thoughts on the fight. I think you do Kota. They're both so low level at the beginning, and I think that's a fair fight to make. Chris?
Yeah?
Sorry, go ahead. What do you think of, quickly, Joe versus Yushi?
The fight was forgettable, but Joe Hiromoto got the win, and hopefully he'll be on this more. I mean, considering the fact that both he and his brother fought on this card, Ren Hiromoto, and come to think of it, let me check. Oh, both of them won. Considering the fact that both of them won, maybe they should be fighting on more cards more often alongside one another.
Maybe it's one of those things where they both get the same energy from each other when they're on the same card.
Yeah.
That
would definitely be good for their blogs and their vlogs.
So before we leave, Jaywolf, I'll start with you. Did you have a fight night? And I'll say 2 performances of the night. I'll give you 2.
Oh, okay. Okay, fight of the night, definitely Ren Hiromoto versus Yaman. People's main event, absolutely a banger from spell. I mean, even though it didn't have a finish, I mean, I just really impressed with how that lived up to the billing. And the performances of the night, I mean, one, I'm going to go with Ryujin Nasukawa. I just was really impressed with this kickboxer's debut in mixed martial arts. The way that he knew the assignment, and what I mean by that is he was throwing soccer kicks, stomps. I was really impressed with his stomping because, that's my favorite strike in mixed martial arts is stomps. So Ryujin Nasukawa gets one of the performances of the night. For the other one, oh, man, it's tough to pick. I want to go with one of the main events, but I also don't want to forget about Segura Knee's sensational knockout. I mean, oh man, it's tough to pick one. I want to go with Kai also with that, but it's gotta be Kyoji Horiguchi, cherrying the event, putting the cherry on top of an event of the year candidate, and then proposing to his girlfriend, winning the inaugural flyweight belt, putting a huge smile on Sakaki Bara-san's face. I love seeing the bar goat just smile ear to ear, and then afterwards proposing to his wife and getting a yes, popping champagne as the confetti's coming down. What a beautiful way to end that event of the year. That's my other performance of the night.
Okay, Jay. Sorry, I almost said Jaywolf. Jay Chris.
Fight of the night was most definitely the Seika Zawa Miyu Yamamoto fight just off of My performance of the night, it was definitely Mikio Ueda just pounding out, you know, just wrecking shop on Tsuyoshi Sudario. Obviously, the co-main event and main event are right up there, especially the fact that both the co-main event and the main event ended in a second round finish, a second round knockout for Asakura, a second round submission for Horiguchi. But still, though, overall, and obviously, I know you got to get to your fight of the night and performance of the night, Andrew.
Yeah.
But what were your overall thoughts of this event?
Oh, great. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. I still think that 2019 is my favorite, but this is still definitely one of their, I would say, top 3 New Year's Eve shows. Maybe top 5 of all time. Fight Night, Hiramoto, Gravelface. I'm going to call him Gravelface from now on. I just think and Horiguchi submitting Shiryu, who had never been submitted before, and the way he did it. And I gotta say, you know what? Cozy winning his first MMA fight. Listen, that's an accomplishment in your first MMA fight. And
by soccer kicks.
No, because it was his first MMA fight. Soccer kicks are fine, but it was because his first MMA fight. By the way, what is it? Speaking of Felipe Massone, he's in the chat. Bom dia, Felipe Massone. Hopefully, get that fight with Kota Miura. Jaywolf, quickly, can you plug what you're doing and how people can reach you?
Yes, absolutely. In the Rizin Discord, join the Rizin Discord. It's a lot of fun. We talk always about Rizin, everything, Japanese MMA, everything. It's just a lot of fun. And also, you had my ad up there. You can put my ad back there. That is my Twitter at. It's JAYY, 2 Ys. Misspelled on purpose, so you know it's me. I'm the same Jaywolf from way back in the day, originally posted on Yahoo message boards, and that's how you know it's me. Easier for searching everything. So follow me on Twitter, and I'll follow you right back if you're a real person. And then also, Teep to the Junk did a preview that Drew and I were on, and he's gonna do a review show just like this. I would like you guys to tune in for that, because we're going to go into more in depth about the Mayweather Pac-Man announcement, because he has a great boxing audience that he talks to. That's on Teep to the Junk's YouTube channel, Random Acoustic Thoughts. And then follow me on Twitter. You got my at there. Join the Rizin Discord. And also Jay Krish is on the Focus Fights audio. We might be doing some upcoming shows about the year in review and the year in preview, and also doing Drew, I don't know if you're gonna have me on or do some contributions from the Discord about the Soccer Kick Awards coming up. So that's
to be determined. To be determined for that whole thing.
I'm just saying, if you don't have me on as a guest, maybe you could have all the members of the Discord submit their their nominations.
I have to let Chris have his say and stuff. Jay, Chris, all of your good stuff, sir.
Okay, you can follow me on Twitter and the fans at ChrisGary92. You can follow me on Instagram at ChristianGary92. And, of course, you can check out wherever Focus Fights has their, things of choice on the Linktree page that you see on your screen. Other than that, I really ain't got nothing else other than the fact that I will be doing a year-end review / preview show for Rizin probably within the next 3 weeks, because it'll be right in that window of there being the first Rizin show of 2024, which will be Landmark 8 on February 24th in Saga, Japan, which I know for you, Jaywolf, February 24th is a very special day in Southern California, is it not?
Yeah, which one are you talking about? Is that Valentine's Day or no?
No, it's not. But, I mean, you know what I mean. Isn't it a certain Snake Day over there?
Is it? Man, I'm lost. I don't know which one you're talking about.
Mamba, dude. Mamba.
Oh, gosh. How dumb. He should have said something about basketball. I would have totally got the reference. Yeah, it's Kobe Bryant Day. 2/24. Absolutely. So, and Jay Krish, are you going to have me on for that Focus Fights review show or a different guest?
I mean, if you're available, and Andrew, this goes for you as well. Hopefully, I will get y'all both on, but it won't
That's
be
that's
like.
fine. Sorry guys, but I do have to wrap it up. I'm just
I
going to
know,
quickly say,
I know. It won't be a
uh,
full blown romper room, but yeah, go ahead and continue.
Yeah, we'll talk about how Takada. We're missing Takada from the New Year's Eve. We didn't get to talk about that in this show, but we'll go into that on Focus Fights and stuff.
We are Rizin Pod on Twitter. Subscribe to YouTube, like all that good shit. I also write for MMAsucker.com. I write a lot of Rizin related stuff. And
You're on
because I was
Twitter,
late-
and you're on Twitter at We Are Rising Pod and at ABinja1, right?
yeah, and because Jaywolf, since I was late, I made you guys wait because I had technical difficulties. I'm going to do this just for you. As the great Lenny Hart, who's now with Road FC apparently, always likes to say.
Yes, Pride never die. I'm on Pride FC. Pride never die. Pride is rising. Peace.
And